Alright, how's it going, guys? Today we're on the topic of RFAs, restricted free agents, and whether or not they are being greedy. Of course we are. We are now weeks away from opening night, and many RFAs have yet to be signed. Marner, Tkachuk, Laine, Kyle Connor, Point, Rantanen, my boy Boeser, and many more RFAs have yet to sign. However, on the plus side, we are seeing some dominoes start to fall from the defensive side of the RFA market. Zach Werenski, Josh Morrissey, both inking deals in the recent couple of days, or recent week, I guess. However, Trouba, Keller, Morrissey are the only RFAs, for the most part, that have inked actual major deals with some long term. All the other RFA deals have been, bridge contracts for the most part. But back to the topic of RFAs and greed. Last season, we of course witnessed the constant RFA drama between William Nylander and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nylander's side would not budge in terms of the contract, in terms of the term and dollar amount. And of course, he received a lot of criticism, especially when he missed a pretty significant amount of games. And ultimately, of course, Dubas ended up paying him anyways. Fearing another Nylander situation, many fans, many analysts are giving the same tone to our current unsigned RFAs, even before the season has started. And in terms of tone, I mean kind of frustration, I guess. That's probably the best way to put it. In the traditional game, in the traditional sense, when a rookie enters a league, they play out their full RFA contract, of course. They receive a nice pay raise after their 3-year entry-level deal, but they wouldn't fully cash in until their third or fourth contract. 10-20 years ago, bigger contracts were normally reserved for the vets or the players who have made large impacts for, a large amount of time. However, the rookies that entered the league, 10-20 years ago, were not able to make the same impact as the rookies do heading into the 2019-2020 season. In today's game, we are seeing many rookies enter the league and instantly basically become the most valuable players on their respective teams. Never before has the NHL seen such dominance in terms of quantity for players under the age of 21. Now, of course, this has many variables, including that the game itself is becoming more skill-based. The traditional game kind of relied upon more strength, more size. Rather, today's game is more skill-based. The new age rookies that are entering the league in 2019-2020 have a completely different skill set than what they would have had, 10-20 years ago. And one of the main main elements would be just skating. And as a result, the game is really shifting towards that more exciting skill-based game instead of that more physical, gritty game. With all this being said, when a player like Patrik Laine comes in and puts up 36 goals in his rookie season as a teenager, leading his whole team in goals, Laine is going to want to be paid as the number one goal scorer on his team. Not only that, but the rookie classes we're seeing nowadays, of course, they're young and they're creating an impact right away, but they are still expected to grow and become even better players, which is honestly just crazy. These super skilled young forwards definitely had a place, decades ago. However, it is nowhere near as common as we see it in today's game. The 2019-2020 RFA class gets even more complicated when you consider that NHL is either expecting a lockout, a much improved CBA deal, which of course will lead to a higher salary cap, which of course translates to higher player salaries. And to add another layer to make this whole situation even more complicated, hockey as a sport has been growing at a really great pace. We are now seeing 2 more expansion teams being added within a 4-year time frame, something that hasn't happened in decades. We are seeing large increases in revenue, profitability, and viewership across the league. We have teams like the Arizona Coyotes who are breaking their personal record ticket sales. Crazy. Hate or love Gary Bettman, but the NHL right now is currently headed in the right direction in terms of its growth and development. And when you take the success of the NHL into consideration, it becomes much more absurd when you compare how much an NHL player makes compared to, an NBA player or an NFL player. They make very little compared to some of the other major sports in North America. I personally believe the image of greed really stems from this new emergence of, young superstars breaking into the NHL. And of course, the precedent was really set by previous players like Nylander or Johnny Gaudreau It seems more extreme now because lots of the NHL teams nowadays have lots of vets, lots of large contracts, and so they're not really able to pay these young players. The teams that are able to pay them do. But when you have teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs, Vancouver Canucks, where they have a lot of money tied up in other places, that's where all the drama really stems from. But throughout the next 3-5 years, I believe we're really going to see a large shift in terms of how players get paid. I don't really believe that's fair for us to say that they should take a pay cut just because they're making a lot of money anyways. They are elite athletes with, full potential, full of growth, who are already at the top of the league. And because of that, they deserve to get paid. It is an absolute shame that we may end up seeing a bunch of RFAs not in their lineup on opening night. But at the end of the day, guys, the NHL, it's of course a sport, but it is also a business, and their salary is their livelihood. And don't get me wrong, guys, I can definitely understand, I'm a fan myself, of course, the frustration we have considering that, we have all these 19, 20-year-olds, I guess 20, 21-year-olds making millions of dollars a year, and they're not really happy with that. But personally, I believe it makes much more sense for us fans to be more frustrated with the owners. The owners, for the most part, are billionaires who don't want to pay the players that are, that are doing all the grindy work. Grindy work. You guys don't understand the word grindy work? Neither do I. The players that are doing all the hands-on. The players that are selling all the tickets. We should get more upset with the owners, not the players who are working their butt off and who are truly elite talents at such a young age. I think it's not really fair for us to be frustrated at them. Let's blame ownership. And which, of course, that brings in the whole new CBA. So we may just see some huge changes because of this new president that has been set through this RFA class, and of course some previous exceptions like Nylander and Gaudreau. Anyways, guys, do you guys think the RFAs are greedy? Maybe I have a completely different viewpoint on it. Let me know what you guys think down below. We saw so much anticipation come up to the Nylander contract. He finally gets signed, and then all of a sudden he is not in game shape. He was not performing up to his expectations, which led to even more frustration from the fans. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later.